Apologies used to mean remorse. Today they mean absolute surrender. And right now, Mark Hamill is having his Peter pickled in soy sauce by a mob of cancel culture warriors who still smell of their mother's milk. They're going after the Hollywood icon because he dared to like a tweet from beloved Harry Potter author JK Rowling. So we're going to cover some of the top reasons why you never apologize. See, when villains have more rights than you, it's time for heroes to rise. You know that whole go along, get along mentality? That's how you breed sheep, not real men and strong women. And the only way to fight back is to never apologize for being you. What's going on, everybody? I hope this finds you well, my friends. See, Mark Hamill has been loyal to Hollywood for over 40 years. He even went so far to betray everything that he believed in when the studio told him to sit down and shut up and stop complaining about Luke because they had perverted him and sacrificed the character on the altar of woke tartary. Hamill completely sold out.
Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, he's not my Luke Skywalker. Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. A Jedi doesn't give up.
12 seconds later.
It's not my story anymore. It's somebody else's story. And Ryan needed me to be a certain way to make the ending effective.
He even went so far, he thought he was so loyal that he was immune to criticism, that he could think and say whatever he wanted. Big, big mistake.
Big mistake. Big, huge.
That's the tweet that started it all this week. See, that was from activist author India Willoughby, and Rowling's response was citations needed. And then came along Mark Hamill, and all he simply did was hit the like button. But that triggered digital platoons of the thought police who wanted to drag him in front of the public square to be executed. And of course, then we were off to the races, and the headlines exploded. See it? Star Wars actor under fire over JK Rowling tweet. Mark Hamill facing cancel culture wrath for liking transphobic JK Rowling tweet. Woke mob eats Star Wars actor Mark Hamill alive for liking JK Rowling tweet. And they kept going and going and going. Well, the message was clear. They're saying wrong think is not allowed. You will comply or face extinction. Now, I got to thank Master of TDS. He put this brilliant compilation together of the manic meltdown over on Twitter from all the blue-haired Betty Sue's and every beta male basement Bob.
Mark Hamill, why are you hitting the like button for JKR's transphobic hate crusade? Hashtag trans rights are human rights. Hey, Mark Hamill, it's easy to believe once was an accident. Twice is clearly intentional. If you can't see the transphobia and world-famous transphobe saying this to a trans woman, then I'm lumping one of my childhood heroes in with the rest of the hateful boomers.
And they just went on and on. So I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity. We'll use Hamill as like the primary foundation. He'll be an example of one of the reasons why we never apologize.
We have found the witch. May we burn her?
But before we get into that, you know, we've been making videos now for a year and a half. We're marching towards 100,000 subscribers, but it seems we've been ringing the bell of facts lately really loud. We've angered a few giants. I've been getting emails from left and right saying, hey, you know, George, I no longer get notifications for your videos. Sometimes I can't find them. I'm like, well, they're not unlisted. So if you find value in them, if you enjoy them, push the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, share with your family, friends, and coworkers, and leave your thoughts and questions in the comments down below. And we're going to march to 100K. Now, to paint this full picture for you, we have to go back and do a little background. See, JK Rowling has been fighting a war for years, trying to ensure that women are never relegated back into the dark ages as second-class citizens. Now, most people don't realize this, but the author is an avowed, unconditional supporter of the transgender cause, unlike what those activists say, where they paint her as this one-eyed cyclops coming for their kids. She only has one caveat. I refuse to bow down to a movement that I believe is doing demonstrable harm and seeking to erode women as a political and biological class. That's it. That's all she wants. She wants women to be safe, to be heard, and to be counted as equals. Nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. Now, thrown into the mix, Mark Hamill, who, just like the author, is a self-professed, loud and proud progressive. They are two peas in a pod, living comfortably in that Hollywood celebrity hive. So, where did this all really start? We got to turn back the clock because it was 2019 when Hamill actually liked his very first JK Rowling tweet. Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you, live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real? Hashtag I stand with Maya. This is not a drill. Now, Rowling was talking about someone she supports, which is Maya Forster, who was a tax specialist in the UK, who was fired from her job because they said she was sending out transphobic tweets. Now, what happened next is that Hamill is paying a price today for what he did back then. See, when he had originally liked that tweet in 2019, of course, all the cancel culture mob, the political correct, came after him. The sharks were circling. And instead of standing up and fighting against them with a little steel in his spine, what did he do? He chummed the waters with his own blood and apologized to the mob of woke warrior bobbleheads, something that you never do. One, because it's wrong, and two, because apologizing to radicals is never enough.
Off with his head!
So what are his transgressions this week? Is that he did it again. He liked another JK Rowling tweet. That's it, nothing more. Now, a lot of people were rooting for him, but for 2 days, he had said nothing. He served up silence to these meat muppets of mayhem. That was until the other day.
What I liked about this exchange was someone speaking their truth to power. Twitter is unfortunately no place for nuance. It's imperative I make this abundantly clear. I support human rights for everyone, regardless of their gender identity. Period.
He's out there again, apologizing to the woke mob yet again, and they're coming after him 10 times harder. And remember, he's one of them. Because anything born of the extreme demands that you unconditionally give up to the treason of reason and preach the word of the day, word for word. No exceptions allowed. No doctor's notes permitted. So, you know what I thought? I have spent a long time going after giants. Maybe it's time to share some of the things I've learned. We'll start with the first giant that I beat. That was my father. I'll save the story how I beat him for another time. Now, to answer a question that a lot of people have been asking, he is the man who kidnapped me. He took me away from my family high up into the mountains in Greece. He did that because he was angry at my mother, because she divorced him, because he was an abuser. Well, during that entire year, he beat me on and off. One of the reasons that drove him crazy is because he would say, I want you to tell me you don't love your mother. I refused. I was stubborn as hell. He said, I just want you to say it once. I want you to tell me once you love me more than anybody else. Well, every time I refused, he would continue the abuse. And then he would demand an apology from me. He goes, look what you're making me do. So I take apologies rather seriously. So after I was rescued and brought back to the U.S., as time went on, I reflected, what did I learn from it? How did I become a survivor? Because I refused to ever be a victim. And I want to share some of those guideposts that guided me to overcome every obstacle in order to succeed and thrive in life. So here are kind of like what I call my golden rules of life. And we're going to focus on just the apologies. You never apologize for being you. There's only one of you on this planet. You're rare and unique. You hear people saying you need to apologize for being born, something you can't control. Apologize for the way you look or your smile or your skin color because it makes them angry. Never do that. Just be you. Never apologize when you've done nothing wrong. That I learned from my grandfather. God, I miss him. He taught me that after I was rescued and came back to America. He's like, that doesn't confer strength. It relays surrendering. He goes, what do you turn into? You turn up into a worm on a hook who just jumps anytime your master howls. He's like, no. When you make a mistake, go and fix it. Don't waste your words. It's a waste of time. And then try to make sure that you never repeat it again. Never apologize when you're happy because someone else is trying to guilt you. You're going to find a lot of people in this life who want you to be as miserable as they are. Just keep smiling, keep strutting your stuff, and live your best life. And never apologize for your success. That is hard fought and earned. It is yours. See, success should be celebrated, heralded, should never be shamed or humiliated. And those who do so, they're just jealous of you. Just remind them that losers whine because winners just don't have the time. And then we get to one of my favorite. Never apologize because you like something or gave your opinion. See, Hamill, he still hasn't gotten a grasp around that. And that's why now his career and his future are at stake. But you look at a prime example like Gina Carano, who after she was let go and fired from Disney, she stood her ground. She doubled down. She had steel in her spine because she understood that freedom is something you have to fight for. And now she's happy and prospering. So when you talk about Hamill and what he's going through, it's nothing new. It's the same dynamic at play year in and year out. Somebody says something, somebody does something that angers somebody else, and they want your high. But especially today in the culture where when you work in Hollywood, that is their bread and butter to bully you when you disagree with them. See, when tolerance takes a backseat to tyranny, that's the time you stand up. And it's your choice always. You want to be an herbivore or a carnivore. Me personally, I take my steak rare and bloody. So remember that we never bow down, we never bend the knee. Always forward.